If you spend any time repairing watches, you'll quickly realize how important it is to get everything clean. And cleaning by hand, it takes forever. And if you would like to get your parts really clean, you need to use some really nasty chemicals. You don't want to handle these manually. And then you need a cleaning machine. Looking for a professional watch cleaning machine, you quickly realize that these cost $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. But there are options out there. You could do like I did, go the route of a DIY cleaning machine. So this video will be about UberKiwi, where I will quickly walk through my build process, the 3D printing process, the benefits and drawbacks, building your own watch cleaning machines, the final price, and also my recommendation. And why did I go this route? I'm a hobbyist, and I would like to use my time as efficiently as possible. I started by cleaning all the parts by hand, but my cleaning results wasn't really good enough. I quickly realized that the parts are not getting perfectly clean, and I would need to improve my cleaning process. So the first step was to introduce an ultrasonic cleaning process. I would call that semi-manual, since you still have to move the parts between different cleaning and rinsing fluids. And also the drawback is that you can't really use these strong chemicals. I started using water-based cleaners, but then you need to rinse in IPA. You can't really clean the balance in the cleaning machine. So I wanted to have something that's automated. I wanted it to be reasonably priced, and I wanted something that could generate really good cleaning results. And then I found the UberKiwi online, and it's designed by Frank, and I would say he's done a really good job with the design. So the whole process starts with you purchasing the plans. You get a license so you can build one UberKiwi. So when you're purchasing the plans, what do you get? You get a really extensive manual showing you exactly how to build your own cleaner. You get a really nice bill of materials so you can source all the parts needed. And you also get the STL files for 3D printing. And if you go this route, I really recommend that you own your own 3D printer, because if one part would fail, you can always replace it with a new one. And here you can see how many parts you're actually getting. Each of the part is named, has a recommendation of what kind of material it is. It also has a coding if it's a visible part. There is a proposed color solution, so if it's a main color or if it's an accent colors, then it's easy to see what kind of filament you would use for your printing. And in my case, I use PETG for all the parts, since I wanted it to be a bit more reliable and also to stand the test of time a bit better. If, for example, you would spill some chemicals, it will not be as affected as a PLA would, for example. So the printing process takes quite some time. So my total printing time was about 127 hours. And as you can see in my case, I printed this on 24 plates, and it's depending on the size of your printer and how many different colors you would like to use. I printed all my parts on the Bambolab P1S, which I had available. And I would say all the parts are really well designed. They are really made for 3D printing. There are specific points where the slicer will add the seams, making the parts look really good in the end. And in the manual, you get a BOM for all the parts that you need to source. That includes both source parts and also hardware. Hardware is without links, so you need to get that in your local hardware store. And when it comes to the build process, the manual is really extensive, and it shows step-by-step instruction exactly on how you will put the thing together. Also, what parts need to be soldered together. And there's also included set-out template for drilling and routing. Included in the manual is also photos showing the print orientation for all the parts, so that you can arrange the parts and orient them in the most optimal way for 3D printing. So it's only a few of the parts that actually require support structures. My biggest struggles with the build was actually cutting the wooden part, or the MDF board in my case. I realized it's much easier to work with metal or watches than actually cutting wood. I also needed to practice some soldering, since the wires that are used in the Kiwi cleaners are really small. During the build process, I only had one of the parts breaking. It's probably because I over-tightened it, but the benefit with this is that you can always print a new one. Another benefit is that you can add your own twist or your own theme to your own cleaner. Myself, I use the colorway of my logo, Lugs and Levers. And if you go down that route, I would recommend to use a fine nozzle. As you can see here, this was the first trial with a 0.4mm nozzle. So I needed to get some help from a friend of mine who has some 0.2mm nozzles. And by doing that, you can increase the resolution. And for the interface, you have 4 wash cycles that you can program to your liking. In settings, you can set the timing for the different cleaning cycles. You can set them individually. So for example, here in the cleaning jar, I had set this for 8 minutes, and then you can set the number of rotation, the rotational speed, and the acceleration. Then you can also calibrate your Kiwi cleaner so that the spin-off height, the transition height, and everything is correct, and that's depending on what kind of glass jars you're using. Then you can also set the spin-off speed and how long it should spin off, and the temperature of the drying chamber, and how long it should preheat. And I would say it's doing a really good job in sealing the jars during cleaning. The silicone gaskets works really well. You cannot really smell the chemicals unless it's transitioning from one jar to the other. Another mistake I made was to order the wrong power supply. So I didn't order a 12-volt power supply or a 36-volt power supply. And what happens? Of course, you burn the motherboard. And when it comes to the cost, you have the cost for the plans. That's $200. I spent roughly $60 on filament, $600 on parts, $40 on hardware, and that brings the totals to roughly $900 for the whole thing, which I think is a really competitive price compared to the thousands of dollars you need to spend for a professional watch cleaning machine. So what's the final verdict? Who is this machine for? If you don't like building your own things, if you don't like soldering, this isn't for you. But if you like tinkering, if you're a hobbyist, if you're a DIYer, I can't recommend the UberKiwi enough. The cleaning results are immaculate. You get the benefit of understanding your own machine. You fully understand how it works. You can replace any broken parts at any time at a very low cost. And you get a fully automated system to help you save time in the long run. And if you like to build this yourself, I left a link to the UberKiwi build plans in the description below. Just note, it's not affiliated. I just really like the product. And let me know in the comments, is this something you would like to do yourself, or are you saving for a commercial machine, or maybe a vintage Elma, for example? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you don't scratch your watch parts, and I will see you in the next one.